Hi everyone, Donna here. I am the owner here at Bookkeeping Made Simple. If you're interested in having us do your bookkeeping or discussing any of the things I talk about in these videos for your business, please give us a call. Our number is 801-692-0032. I'll put that in the description for the video. And our website is at mysimplebookkeeping.com. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me grow my channels. Love hearing from you. I love it when you comment on my videos. Yesterday I was talking about breaking down your goals, determining what a reasonable goal is towards the end, for the end of the year, the end of 2021, and then breaking it down almost to the absurd to determine what needs to be done to achieve these small, achievable goals that will end up adding up to huge results. I discussed it in the context of weight loss. I've also discussed it in the context of, if you have a service business, how many clients can you take? How many clients do you need? What do you need to charge? All of these kind of things. And I want to kind of go into that a little bit more. We're going to talk a bit about a cost-benefit analysis and a risk-reward analysis. A little bit in this video and probably in upcoming videos. I have a lot of topics I want to cover, and I keep writing them down, and then I keep forgetting what I want to talk about them. So that just kind of happens when you have a lot going on, and I really like doing that. I like being that person. What is today? Today is Wednesday, the 30th. This is my last work day of the week. Because of the New Year's holiday, I am taking New Year's Eve off. By that, I really mean I'm taking New Year's off from the phone, from meetings, from that kind of thing, getting a few clients wrapped up for the end of the year. And then, of course, we have New Year's Day and the weekend. So I hope you have a lot of wonderful things happening this weekend. This will be my last video this week. For those of you that are wondering, yes, I put eyeshadow on today, and I may or may not be supposed to. I am now 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 days post-op from LASIK surgery. Best decision ever. I just can't get over this. So a couple of things I want to talk about. One is consistency, and another one is looking at your risk-reward benefits, your cost-benefit analysis, and how to do that. Like I said yesterday, the first thing to do when you're setting goals for the new year, or for any time, I actually set my goals for the new year in October. For some reason, October to me, as we're going into fall, is the time to really start thinking about what I want to do in the next year. I don't know why it is October for me. Some people, it may be March or April when spring is coming forth. And for many, many people, this is the time. So the first thing you want to do is look at your whole year. Now, I actually have a habit of every year I write a journal entry. But it's never dated for the day that I write the journal entry. It's dated for 1 year in the future. And I keep it in this one special notebook. I call it my future vision. I date it for a year in the future. Actually, I'll put down the date that I write it and then the date I expect it to come true. And I will go over everything I want my life to look like in a year. Now, the catch is, most of us don't recognize the changes that are happening over the course of the year. We just don't. We don't realize that the people that we're hanging around, by the way, if you want your life to change, you have to choose carefully the people that you spend time with, and the books that you read, and the music or audiobooks that you listen to. You have to really pay attention to that, because we talk a lot, especially we ladies, we love to talk about diets. And I can list, 25 diets off the top of my head, just about, it seems like, because everybody's on a different diet, and they all swear by their diet. And some of those diets are incredibly toxic. I remember as a teenager, I went on basically the carrot diet. I've been on the master cleanse. I've been on the cabbage soup diet. Those are incredibly unhealthy diets, by the way. They are not sustainable for the long term. what we're talking about in these videos this week are things that are sustainable over time, okay? So we want to create habits, not to the point that we can't change things, okay? We don't want our life to be just stuck in a rut because of our habits. We want to have adventures. We want to be able to respond well to things, but we also want to create habits. In other words, we want to create promises to ourselves and then keep those promises, just as we would to a client, a child, a partner. The promises we make to ourselves are critically important as well. So every year, and I'm getting ready to write mine again, I write my future vision for the upcoming year. What is my life going to look like by the end of the year? The first one I did actually said, basically I was in a challenging relationship. I wasn't even actually in a relationship. I just really wanted to be in a relationship with this one particular man. And I said, well, I'm going to be in a fulfilling relationship and everything's going to be going great. And the person that I'm with, the man that I'm with is going to be just protective and kind and loving, but not so protective that I feel stifled. I'm going to have a lot of freedom in it. I'm going to have room to grow. He's going to think that I am the most amazing thing ever. And sure enough, within 3 months, that happened, but with a different man, okay? So I write down everything I want the outcome of my life to look like. I don't write down the process on how to get there. I write down the outcome, okay? I make X number of dollars, personal income. Not revenue for the business, but what my personal income is. I write down what my business revenues are, okay? Maybe I write down how many people I have on staff. Or maybe I just make it generic and I say, I have a wonderful staff that takes care of all my clients and I have less to do because my staff takes care of everything. I write down what my spiritual goals are. Now, I am Christian. I am the Mormon flavor of Christian with a strong dash of Baptist because my grandparents were all for Southern Baptist. So my parents are Mormon from a Southern Baptist background. And so that kind of colors, but both of those things, all of those things, color the way I view the world. And mostly from a Christian perspective. I like visiting and learning about a lot of religions, but that's neither here nor there. So I really think about my spiritual, that's part of who we are, regardless of what your religious tradition is, regardless of whether you belong to an organized religion or not, regardless where you want to be spiritually is an important part of your life. So we have to put that in. I put in my social goals. Sometimes it's, I want to go to lunch with my girlfriends 2 or 3 times a month. I put in my self-care goals, that I'm taking care of myself. How do I feel about myself? What is my cash flow? I find it very easy to do the business part of it because I'm numbers oriented, because that just makes sense. I plug it in and say, I want to make this much money. If A, then B, and I just have to follow the prompts, basically. But then I also have to put in other financial goals. Do I want a house? Do I, what kind of house do I want to live in? Do I want to move out of the house that I'm living in now and into an apartment? Do I want to stay in Utah? Do I want to move to California or Florida or Kentucky or somewhere else? Those are just places I thought off the top of my head. That doesn't mean anything, folks. I don't want to move to Texas. It's about all I know. What kind of fitness goals do I have? That's a huge part of my life. That's why I talk about it a lot. I am, I like to be fit. I like to feel like I can go outside and hike Mount Timpanogos just for the fun of it anytime. So what kind of goals do I have to have that level of fitness? What kind of social goals do I want to have? What kind of people do I want to surround myself with? And that has really recently been brought home to me, just how important that is. I have some friends that spent quite a lot of time in their younger years partying, and so they attracted people who liked to party and encouraged them in that lifestyle. And that's fine. That's a fine lifestyle to have. They had and I've done this several times, so it's not just one or two people I'm thinking of. It's many, many people that have been in my life. And there's been times when I was in that mindset as well, that I just wanted to party, I wanted to drink, I didn't want to think about challenges that were happening in my life. And so I attracted those kind of people. And when you attract those kind of people, not very nice things happen. I've had money stolen from me. I have, and this was at a time when I was a very, very poor single mom. I've had money stolen from me by the people that I thought were my friends, but they were party people. They weren't serious. They weren't, which is fine. You don't have to be serious to be in business, but they weren't business oriented. They had no integrity. They had no, they were just interested in the next hit, really. And I wasn't even into anything illegal, so to speak. But because they were interested in partying, I was interested in partying at the time. And I've seen this happen to other friends, that because that's the lifestyle they wanted, those are the people they attracted, and the people that they attracted brought in more of the lifestyle, and then things fall apart. So you have to be careful who you associate with. Ryan Stewman, by the way, who's on Facebook and Instagram, Ryan Stewman really has some wonderful stories about that, where he associated with people in his younger years that did not support him in his goals. I will suggest that you go look up his Facebook page, Ryan Stewman, and read his stories firsthand, because I don't think I can do them justice. But eventually he figured out that if he wanted to have the lifestyle that he said he wanted to have, which was stability, a loving relationship, plenty of money, kids, integrity, he had to change the people that he was around. And when he did, his life changed. Okay? So you have to be mindful of who you're around. That doesn't mean you have to break off every relationship that you're in. I'm not promoting that, but you do have to be thoughtful about who you give your time to. We only have 16 hours a day, because we have to have 8 hours to sleep, right? We only have 24 hours a day. Everybody has the same 24 hours. Who do you want to gift your precious time to? What kind of people do you want to gift that precious time to? I know I don't have very much available to give to anyone that isn't the kind of person that I want to become, or isn't supportive. It's not going to be the kind of person I want to be around. So if you are, spending all of your time partying, that's fine. Maybe you want to start thinking about what happens when the party ends. Okay. Parties don't last forever. If you want to be a CEO, then you might want to start spending time with people who are CEOs, or who are in business school, or who are, really working on that mindset. What kind of things are you feeding your brain? All of these are these little bitty habits. They're really little habits that add up to huge long-term results. Okay, and I know this because I've seen it. I've seen it little by little. This time last year, I actually wrote down that I was going to have an assistant. I have two. I wrote down that I was going to be making a certain amount a year. Well, I've achieved that, and I'm looking to surpass it. I have written down things like You know, my boyfriend's health, unfortunately, that is still an issue, but I expect that it will be taken care of. I wrote down, and some of these didn't happen because it happened in 2020. Okay, that we spend a lot of time on beaches. We're still working on that. Some of the things you won't actually achieve, but it's really neat to look back at your future vision and see how close you came. Because if you don't, I've always told my kids, aim for the moon. If you don't make it to the moon, at least you'll land among the stars. So that's one of the things that I do to prepare. I start to think about exactly what do I want my business to look like? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my personal relationships to look like? My social life, my spiritual life, my fitness goals. I really start to think about all the things that make you a well-rounded person and how can I achieve them? Education. I just really, really start thinking about it. And then I start thinking about what are the things that I have to do day after day, because a lot of the things that you need to achieve great goals, a lot of the things you need to achieve your adventures have to be accomplished little by little, line upon line, precept on precept, tiny little goal after tiny little goal that you build on. You have to build the foundation, and that's where the audiobooks, reading, I do recommend, was it 75 Hard? Haven't been able to do it myself, but I do recommend it. I'm really, I'm thinking about, I have no problems with reading. I'm in the Century Club every year, but this year, again, I didn't track my books last year, but starting on New Year's, I'm going to write down every book that I finish. And I fully expect to have read 300 books by the end of the year. If not, well, sometimes I don't make 300 because I have, when I was not working for a living, when I had little kids at home and I had more spare time, when they were napping and the like, I could read a book a day. I am finding that I have more demands on my time now. Believe it or not, it's odd that I have more demands on my time now that my kids are grown than I did when they were little. But now I'm finding, but I think that's just because I put more on my plate. Now I'm finding I have less time to do a lot of reading, and so it's taking me longer to read a book. But I do read about 2 books a week on average. I can't stand to go without reading a book, so I choose my books carefully. This wonderful device is the greatest device ever. It doesn't replace paper books, but I have 10,000 books on this. So I can stop and think, and I'm thoughtful about the books that I read. If I feel negative vibes from a book, I will not only put it down, I'll delete it. And I have some books, as you can see, some books are valuable enough that I have hard copies of them because it's important to me. I am a bibliophile and a bookworm. So so that's one of the things. You are who you associate with, what you read, what you listen to, and then what promises you keep to yourself. I don't want to call them habits because I remember living a life where I was completely governed by habits, and it just felt like I was living in a grave with the ends kicked out. I didn't like that. That's pretty much it for today. These are all these little habits. So for me, one of the little habits, one of the promises to myself that I want to keep is at least a short video every morning. It doesn't have to be a huge long video. It doesn't have to be an hour long, anything. I just want to talk about one topic. Most of these are just what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. And some of these are really so that you can see my thought process. And so I'm going to have to plan my videos a little bit better for next week. But I'm really looking forward to next week. We will have turned the corner. We will be into January. And I am really, really excited for the new year. If you have been negatively impacted by COVID, by SARS-CoV-2, keep in mind that your mindset is the most important part of recovery, whether it's recovery from illness or recovery from economic burdens. I tell myself every year, I don't have time to get sick. And the net result of that is I'm very seldom sick. So kind of keep that in mind. If you tell yourself, if you practice healthy habits and tell yourself you don't have time to be sick, and that your body's going to do what you want it to do, I promise there will be results from that. Might not be quite the results you expect, but there are results. I learned that ages ago. I learned that, every time I'm doing something that seems really hard. We can do hard things, and we can do them with grace, and we can do them with grace. Starting in January, and I don't know when in January, I will actually be putting out the link to this video so that you can actually comment live on it, so you can actually join me in the meeting. I do these on Ring Central, so I would like to open this up and have a few people at least jump in and discuss specific topics. We'll still put these up on Facebook, but I'm still pondering that. In the meantime, and I will be putting up a webinar in January. The initial webinar will be live. You'll be able to log in, ask questions, and then the recording will stay up so that hopefully I can answer some of the questions that you may have about bookkeeping, accounting, payroll, and tax. Those are the things that we do, including what you have to be what you do need a CPA for and what you do not need a CPA for. And I am still debating on whether I want to go down the CPA route. I will be starting back to school in the spring with the goal of an MBA, because I think that's going to be more useful to my clients than having a CPA designation would be. But I will still be sitting for the CPA exam, I think, probably. Maybe. It is the hardest professional exam, period. It's harder than the boards for physicians. It's harder than the bar for lawyers. That's what I've heard. It's harder to pass. So we'll see. That's it for today. I've probably rambled on too much. Thank you so much for watching my video. I am looking forward to seeing you on the flip side in 2021. Have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's celebration. And if you've had a rough time this year, remember, rough times never last. Tough times never last. It's one of the things I've just really, really, really felt like I needed to keep in mind is tough times never last. Tough people do. We're going to have a wonderful 2021. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful new year, and I will talk to you next week.